Movie. Hello and welcome back again to episode 2 of the Ohio Wrestlecast. I am Mark Thomas.
And I'm Jerrod Griffiths. You may know me as Wilbur Whitlock on the independent scene.
Yep. And new
Mid-Ohio Wrestling Tag Team Champion.
Yeah, congrats
I'm
again.
gonna wear some victory scars on my head as we do this podcast. But 35 minutes in the ring, Tag Team Title Classic, and happy to say we walked out the champion. So
yeah. Again, congrats. I saw that picture. I posted it on Matt Archer too.
Beautiful.
So,
share it with the people.
But yeah. Right here, our own tag team champion right here at the table with us.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I've won many titles over the years, but this one's one of my favorites, man. This was a blast last night. One of my best friends in the business, Patrick Hayes, and I wanted to be a tag team. We were talking about it for actually a couple of years now. Finally, everything aligned where we could get in there and won the belts on the first night. So
Nice.
Not bad, man. Not bad. Can't beat that.
For sure. No, I was psyched when I saw the picture because I didn't even see it, but my buddy Ben knew that you were my friend and he tagged me.
I've seen that tag on Facebook. Yeah, man. That's but you know what? That helps. Is anybody who sees it and enjoyed the show, tag, share, we spread the word, man. Independent wrestling, it's hard to beat the price of admission. You get live action. It's a great night out. Can't recommend it enough. If you got an independent show in your area, give it a try, man. The boys appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, you guys work hard too. You guys
got to work hard, man. And it's nice being on that ground level. Like, when you have fans, you have parents and their kids come up to you and want an autograph or want a picture. It's humbling. I mean, it truly is, because we're on the other side of that fence too. We know how hard it is sometimes to maybe come up with even $10 for a ticket and taking a family of 4 out or something. Like, I understand it. It's but they come out. They support the product, they buy the merchandise, and, if we don't produce in the ring, they're not going to do that. So It's up to us, bust our ass, and put on a great show. So, again, if you see an independent show, you see a flyer around or something, check it out, man. It's a good night out, something different.
Yeah. And you often see this face on those posters, too. So
true.
It'll be a good night for sure.
True. I'll do my part, if nothing else.
Well, awesome. And congrats again, sir. That's
appreciate it.
Cool.
But we're here to talk about wrestling on a much larger scale today,
yes.
right?
Yeah, you start with NXT TakeOver for Wrestlemania.
Man, yeah, this is the perfect time to start this podcast, right? Because, Wrestlemania weekend is the biggest weekend. It's the Super Bowl of wrestling, and they start now. Well, they start with the Hall of Fame on Friday, which there was some cool stuff there.
The
live action started Saturday night, NXT Takeover, and
they always give them a run for them. It's almost better.
I feel like a lot of people say it's better now. And that being said, I think the length has something to do with it, which we'll dive into detail about the length of WrestleMania here.
Yeah.
But you get a 2.5 hour show. And every match means something. And, they just delivered in spades. They opened up with that ladder match.
Yeah.
30 minutes of just I can't remember a ladder match being that, with guys putting their bodies on the line since, the TLC matches of yesteryear.
For sure.
It was crazy, man. Me and Josh were sitting there watching it, and after it was done, we looked at each other like, dude, that was the first match.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I remember it was on, like, I just had the network on, and it came on, because I knew it was coming on. And that match started, and I probably about 25 minutes in, I wasn't sure if it was the same. Like, I had to really pay attention. I wasn't sure if it was the same match again. Like, there was so much going on, and I'm still so unsure about Velveteen Dream.
You're not sold on the Velveteen Dream?
Well, he's good in the ring. I just don't get it. Like, what is he? What's the deal with him?
Well, me and Josh were talking, and we had the good brother Jeff Hughes. We were at his house to watch a show, and I said before the show started, I said, when Jeff sees the Velveteen Dream, he's either going to love him or hate him. Like, and he looked at him one look. He's like, I hate this guy.
Yeah, like the look of him at first really threw me off. I didn't know what to think. I was like, he thinks he's like Jimi Hendrix or something, and
Jimi Hendrix mixed with Prince, mixed with Ravishing Rick Rude.
Yeah, it's crazy, but
he's entertaining, and it
works.
He goes all into that gimmick. If you half-ass that gimmick, the fans will shit all over it.
Yeah,
they're not going to buy it. But he goes all in on that gimmick, and he's one of the more popular guys they have there now. He's a heel, but he He gets cheered everywhere he goes.
I mean, gimmicks aside, he's really good.
Oh, he's really
He
good.
took a beating in that match.
Oh God, yeah, and he's young. I believe he's maybe 22 years old. I mean, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's really young.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, when you think, AJ Styles is 40 or 41 right now.
Yeah.
So you think this kid maybe has 20 years before he could still be in his prime. I mean,
he keeps doing that shit. He's gonna end up like Daniel Bryan and then coming back.
Off a couple of years.
Yeah.
You keep doing matches like that. Well, I think they don't have too many ladder matches in NXT. I remember a couple of them, but that was definitely the first big multi-man match they had.
And it was good.
And it was damn good. A lot of talent in that ring. EC3 coming over from TNA.
Yeah, I didn't even know who he was until recently.
He had a great showing. There's Ricochet, who has been huge on the indie scene for the past 10 plus years. That's a big signing for them. Adam Cole, of course, got the win. And man, how good is that guy?
I like Adam Cole a lot.
That guy has just talent in spades, and every time he's out there, like maybe 5-10 minutes in, you're just watching the match, you're like, God, this guy's good. Like, he's
people go crazy for him too.
Adam Cole, baby, he's over. So he got the big win there, and then we had the two big matches at the end. You seen Andrade Almas versus Aleister Black?
That was good.
I
still haven't watched that match you told me to watch in the last podcast.
The Almas Gargano match?
Yeah, I will, though.
Take the time to backtrack. Well, you'll see there, too, how good Almas and his manager, Selena Vega, are together. I mean, she steals the show with two amazing wrestlers, and she steals that match, man. She's just fantastic as a character, and those two together are great.
No, she plays right into it perfectly.
Absolutely. And then the finish, they had her interfere 3-4 times where it was critical points in the match, and then the finish finally it backfired. Aleister Black hits the finish, hits the big spin kick. And,
yeah.
Whew, man, it was a heck of a match, but that wasn't even the main event.
No, it wasn't.
You had Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa.
That match was like a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Like
it was an artwork, man.
Perfectly plotted
really
out over time, and like that was like the perfect. I'm sure it's not over, but that was kind of like a perfect like.
Right. I mean, just even from the very beginning with Ciampa coming out, no music.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's like fuck
no
it.
music to a packed house, and the crowd just, nuclear heat for the guy, and that's a testament to his work. It's a testament to Johnny Gargano, who's just. He's as babyface can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like you said, masterpiece is the absolute right word for it. I think they went about 35 minutes, and they just told a story.
They really
entire time.
You can tell that those dudes are really good friends, and they just fucking like get each other.
Yeah,
they get it, and they probably don't even have to say things to each other in the ring. That's how in sync they are.
That's how your best chemistry is, man. Where sometimes you can just look at a guy and kind of know where you want to go next, and you can be on that same page. And it's an amazing thing, to have that sort of chemistry with somebody, because there's so many things that can go wrong if you're not on the same page.
Yep.
But to just be completely in sync with one another. Well, you see what happens. You have an amazing match.
That actually reminds me, when I was watching it, at one point, Ciampa gets kicked in the face, and something flies out of his mouth, and there's little pieces of it all over the place.
It looked like his tooth maybe shattered.
That's what I thought, but he didn't have like a missing tooth. He wasn't bleeding or nothing.
I don't know what it was.
But there were little pieces of it everywhere, and I was like, what was that?
What was that? Whatever it was, it got shattered by that kick.
Yeah.
It was, whew.
They
was that big suplex off of the table onto the floor.
Oh,
There's the power bomb. How many times have you seen where they expose the concrete and nothing actually comes of it?
That looked painful. That looked legitimately painful.
I was hearing live reports where like the fans said, like, man, we could feel that with him. Like,
I bet you could see it on him. He did not like the way that felt whatsoever.
Concrete's concrete. There's no way to. You could take a safe bump, but concrete, you're going to feel it. There's just no two ways around it.
And really, if you think about it, even on the mat, all it is like this much cushion on concrete.
And
in the ring, it's this much cushion on plywood.
Every bump, man, you feel. Oh, that goes without saying. But again, there's ways to protect yourself that. I was able to walk into your house today, because if you don't know what you're doing, that wouldn't be the case. But those bumps on concrete, man. You somebody show me how to fall down on concrete and feel okay afterwards. You can't. That's dedicating yourself to the cause and having a great match, and the crowd reacted appropriately, man.
No, I agree. That match was fantastic.
And that was just the appetizer for the weekend, right?
Yeah. Like I said before, like pretty much every takeover before WrestleMania, it's always like, man, I don't know if WrestleMania can beat that. And some parts of WrestleMania does, but as a whole, usually they don't.
Again, those takeover shows are just like we said, 2.5 hours, and they're just so tightly ran. You know, it's just good match, and then a video package, and then a good match, and everything means something. Like you basically feel like you can't take a piss break watching NXT.
No, there's no dumb filler stuff.
You don't want to miss anything.
Yep. No, I agree.
And I mean, we didn't even talk about the women's title match, which was very good. The tag title match was very good. Everything on that show served a purpose. Great, highest recommendation to watch NXT Takeover if you haven't yet. Go pause this and go do it.
Yeah, and then come back and listen to it.
And then come back and we'll talk
roll it back and then re-listen.
We'll talk about WrestleMania. Yeah. Then you'll most likely agree with us.
For sure. I don't know how you couldn't. I agree with everything you've said pretty much.
But that was just the precursor, man. So then Sunday afternoon, we rolled WrestleMania 34, and so much happened. But I think the main talking point, which is probably a problem, everybody says the first thing when you think of WrestleMania is the length. Yeah. You know, it's you got so many talented people in the roster now, and you want to get everybody on the show, and you know if you're in front of 50, 60, 70,000 people, you want to give everybody some time to go out there and perform. But you know, for not all of us, not only us watching at home, but the live crowd, I mean, 7 hours straight of wrestling can just exhaust you.
Yeah, with the kickoff show, it's a lot, and you have to watch the kickoff show at this point, or else you wouldn't have saw the Bray Wyatt Matt Hardy thing.
Bray Wyatt Matt Hardy angle, the Cedric Alexander Mustafa Ali had a damn good match.
Yeah, it was.
Don't really agree with what happened in the women's battle royal, but you know, but still, I mean, this kickoff matches, you know, there's not real. This again, it's not filler. You had a cruiserweight title match that was a culmination of a tournament. You had the Matt Hardy Bray Wyatt angle being furthered. You had the Sasha Bailey angle being furthered. So it wasn't like it's just a fun match to get it on there. No, there's stuff that you needed to see if you're a wrestling fan.
For sure, stuff. There's things that were built up that you want to see the conclude. Like the Bray and Matt thing alone was. You need to watch the pre-show for that in general, but not even the Mustafa Ali. And
that was the very first match on there. So you had 2 hours of the kickoff show. Then we opened up. Hell of an Intercontinental title match. I know The Miz, I think, has made believers out of a lot of people. Not some of the folks watching with us, but most everybody. I think The Miz has made believers out of everybody. And you can't go wrong with Finn Balor, and then Seth Rollins is just. We all know how talented Seth Rollins is, but man, he's somehow turned it up to another level lately.
No, you're right. He's just within like the last few months, Seth Rollins really has stepped up his game. Yeah. Like it's ridiculous. Like before, I always liked Seth Rollins, but I was just like, you know, he's good. He's really good. But like now lately, I'm like he's one of the best out there.
He's fired up, man. He's motivated. He had a hell of an entrance and. Got the win with a couple of stomps and a great opener, I thought that was the perfect way to open the show, too. Yeah. You had good characters, and you had a hot, energetic match.
Defending a title that people respect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, and you can't deny that. If you think about where the Intercontinental title was, you know, a few years ago, The Miz has done a great job elevating it, and Seth Rollins, who is widely known as a top guy. Yeah. Now, I mean, as the champion, he's going to add some more credibility to it. So, you know, as kids, we love the Intercontinental title.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's great that it's kind of getting back to that level again.
Me too. Because, like, especially back in the 90s, the Intercontinental champion was usually you were happy about. Like, he was a cool guy in my eyes. Like, but, yeah.
There was always called, like, you know, the workers title. I mean, you had Mr. Perfect and Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. I mean, and before that, Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage. It was always the Intercontinental title. You know, you were going to get a great match. You know, the world title might have meant more, might have drawn the house, but you knew the Intercontinental Championship was going to be a great match. And I think we're getting back to that level again, too.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Honestly, surprised Seth won, though.
Yeah.
I thought Balor would get it.
I thought so, too. I thought Balor would get it, or maybe The Miz retains.
Yeah.
I didn't see Seth getting the win, but had no complaints here, man.
No, I would have been happy with either Balor, or I would have been happy if anyone in that match won, really. Yeah, because even if The Miz retained, I would have been like, cool.
He deserves it. Yeah, he's had a great title reign, and interested to see where they're going to go next with this. I think there's still some more mileage in the feud with these guys, so.
No, I agree. And I'm also happy that Seth Rollins stopped wearing those stupid flame pants.
Well, the flame pants aren't great. Yeah, the flame pants, I haven't compared it to like if you're playing like Smackdown 2 and doing a creator wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I think. Like that's like the first thing they give you for like the random outfit.
Random outfit. You're like, check out these flame pants. Yeah, that was Seth Rollins' deal for a little while.
It's like he like raided Kane's old closet.
Well, now he came out as a White Walker, and it worked out for him. He got the win. It was a great opener. So then we go on to match 2, and didn't slow down, man. We had Charlotte and Asuka, and I remember in our preview, which you guys can check out, we talked about going in. I think we thought it was probably Asuka's night. They were all building up for her to continue her streak, win the title. But then when we were watching the show, I remember saying like, man, I was pretty confident Asuka was going to win, but boy, I'm not so sure. Like it built, and I think we can agree. We talked about it again watching it live that if anybody's going to break the streak, I think we were happy it was Charlotte.
No, I think if anybody needed to break the streak, it would be her. Like
That's true.
I kind of think it would have been cool for Asuka to have her WrestleMania moment there.
Yeah.
Win the title and maybe even drop it the next day, or like just build it up a little more.
Right.
Maybe the next pay-per-view, that's when she loses it, and Charlotte, that's even more redemption for Charlotte.
Right.
In a way.
Asuka's gonna be fine. She can rebuild, and she'll still have a lengthy run and lots of good things to come. Now there was something that I had heard like prior that there's talks that Asuka would win the match, maybe hold the title the whole next year to Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania 35. That being said, I think most wrestling fans will be happier that Charlotte was the one who got that first win instead of Rousey, which we're going to talk about Rousey here shortly. Fans are kind of fickle about that sort of thing. When something's important to them, they and it's taken away. They want it to be somebody that they liked. And Charlotte, again, man, she deserves every good thing that happens for her. She's fantastic. She's a superstar.
She's also the most believable.
Yeah.
Like, if Nia Jax can't even do it, Charlotte is the one that needs to do it.
Yeah. Nia Jax is a monster, but she's not going to have to beat Asuka. Charlotte is she's the queen, as they say, and she's the best wrestler. She was the only one that was capable of getting the job done. And, just a great match.
Great ending, too.
Great match, great ending. The figure 8, selling the arm, and then Asuka putting her over. And then that was a little bit foreshadowing later for the men's title match with something that happened differently.
For sure.
But, it was a good match, and Charlotte getting the win was, I think, the right call. I don't think anybody, as great as Asuka's streak was, I don't think anybody was disappointed with that outcome. I think
not at all. Honestly, either way, I don't think I would have been disappointed whatsoever.
Yeah, no, and the women deserve that stage. They've come so far in wrestling. Let's be honest, the women's matches, even as recent as say 5 years ago, but definitely 10 years ago, they were bathroom break matches. They were, around and bullshit about something else in wrestling, like it just was. And now like they're can't miss. We were as excited for that as any other match on the show.
Yeah, shit, they main event.
Yeah,
a lot of pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then I've already heard the rumor that they're thinking about Charlotte and Rousey to main event Mania next year. Which, hey,
I'll look forward to that.
If Rousey's on the pace that she's at and is over as both they are, I don't have a problem with that.
Agreed.
I think that'd be great. We had the U.S. title match with Jinder Mahal getting the win. I think the entire crowd, both at my house and in New Orleans, were hoping Rusev Day would have been celebrated with the United States title, but it wasn't to be.
No, unfortunately not at all.
And no. Jinder Mahal, they obviously see a lot in him. Guy looks great. Can't take that away from him. He had his heavyweight title reign last year. It
was a mediocre title reign, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't a great title reign. This match, the guys worked hard. That's the theme throughout this. There's some stuff that didn't necessarily hit, but the guys worked hard. It wasn't really a lack of effort on anybody's part.
The match wasn't bad. I just didn't like who won, really.
No, and it's obviously you don't like it when the heels win. That's the idea, but especially with that WrestleMania crowd, you kind of know. And the way that Rusev especially has gotten himself over in the last, few months.
I liked Rusev before the whole Rusev Day thing, but I love the Rusev Day thing.
Rusev Day is fantastic. And yeah, he is. He's a great talent, period. Bobby Roode is over with the fans. Yeah. Randy Orton is always over with the fans. Rusev has gotten incredibly over the fans, and then the fourth guy won. I think that's kind of the way you kind of come out of that, like, all right.
They just want Ginger to be something for them. They want that
the international market. Yeah, I mean that's. Hey, when talking dollars and cents, it's hard to argue with that company. They've done a great job.
Vince knows what he's doing. He's got the right people there, I'm sure. Yeah. So.
But I'm ready to move on because the next match was the one that stole the show, man. I think none of us watching it live, I don't think any of us believed that how good it was.
No, I didn't expect it to be terrible. I knew it had the potential to be terrible.
Sure.
But I was. Even in the middle of it, like by the middle of it, I even like openly stated, like, I gotta say, I'm not hating this at all. I'm not hating this at all.
Well, when you look at it this way, I mean, okay, you do have two of the best wrestlers of all time, all right, Kurt Angle, Triple H, but they're not active. They're not out there working on a regular basis. You have Stephanie, which by all means, fantastic character. Stephanie's character is just one of the best heels. I mean, in recent memory, she's a great heel. And then Ronda Rousey, of course, is a huge household name. She comes in with that. She comes in with.
She looks great.
Yeah, looked great, and she has charisma, and so the people are going to be into her. But all that being said, those are four people that really don't wrestle that often.
Yeah.
So you can maybe plan the match out. You can know what you're going to do out there. But I'm telling you from experience, if you're not really out there active, it's tough to go out there and have everything fire on all cylinders.
Yeah.
But man, these four did that.
Yeah, you could tell that they had a plan beat for beat, and they hit that.
They hit it.
It was a little
every single step of the way.
Sloppy at first with the first move Ronda did to Stephanie, that little like weird F5 back.
She did that. That sort of modified Samoan drop.
Yeah, but, that was a little sloppy at first, but after that, the match was pretty seamless.
And then after watching that match, when you can talk about it, be like, well, what was the big moves of the match? There wasn't that many big moves in the match. Sometimes you can have a great match by telling a great story, and it's more than the moves. I mean, we had the tease of the armbar was great. The showdown with Ronda and Triple H was great.
Yeah, it was.
Every little bit. I mean, even when Triple H pulled Ronda out, she took that big bump on the floor. It got everybody, and that's coming from watching that crazy ladder match where there's tons and tons of crazy bumps to all of us still going ooh for a face bump on the floor because it had you invested.
She took that turnbuckle shot from the outside really well. Like she sold it, and it looked like she actually hit. Like.
Again, I'm sure she's gone through lots of training, but she didn't look like somebody who was in her first match.
No, not at all.
And I'm trying to think. I mean, just off the top of my head, can you think of anybody who was that good in their first match, like ever? I mean, that's insane. It's insane to have your first match ever in front of 60,000 fans at WrestleMania. That's a testament to how over she is in real life.
Yeah.
But I mean, the first match ever, and again, in there with some pros to be sure, but. God, I mean, it was fantastic. I think blew everybody's expectations.
Oh, for sure. Like I expected it to be half as good as what it was.
Yeah.
Good job.
Hats off all around, man. That was a great match. My brother left before that match, and I remember texting him, telling him, I said, "You have to watch that. It was great." And he said, "Yeah, right." And then I seen him later in the week. I was like, "Did you watch that match?" And he went, "Dude, that was great."
It was. It really was. Like if Josh can admit that, like it's gotta be good.
If Josh doesn't hate it, it's good. That should be the measuring stick for anything in life. Yeah.
Really, it is. Like the way I judge movies and TV shows and stuff is by my buddy Lee, and like he hates on things he likes. So if he says he really likes something, I know it's really
has to be good. Yeah. Highest recommendation all around. If for whatever reason you thought I don't want to watch Ronda Rousey, go watch it.
It's definitely worth it. You will not regret
match.
it. I even showed it to my brother the next day, and he doesn't even really watch wrestling anymore. But like he was like watching it like intently, like trying to see what's going on. Like he dug
We were captivated, man. We wanted that armbar so bad. They teased it a few times where you're just like, she's gonna get it here. Then she just did it, and she just didn't. If you can look over the fact that Stephanie McMahon is apparently a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt that can block an armbar a few times when nobody could in the UFC. Wrestling's not entirely real. So if you can block that out, it told a great story, man.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
And what that last armbar she did where she finally got her and got it in there, the way they shot it, the way it all happened, it's like It's like they did it 1,000 times or something, or it was real. It was like a movie.
Uh-huh.
Like, even the way it looked was done just
finally
like a
got
movie.
the bad guy.
Oh, so
you're this
good.
close, you're this close, you're this close, and they finally got the bad guy. And the crowd reacted appropriately. I mean, it was.
Oh, and that angle from like right at like just angling up from the side of the ring, like it was so perfect.
Man, we could, and you know more about production than I do, but I think it just goes without saying, WWE's production is just second to none.
Yeah.
I mean, in everything they do, like
Other than Kevin Dunn pressing the wrong button or something every now
and
and then. Saying
now
John Cena's the Bludgeon Brothers.
Every now and then you hit the wrong button, but they know the right camera shot, they know the right angles, they know the right sound, they know where they are.
Oh yeah. I mean, they've
all of that.
been doing it for 25 years.
Yeah, and that's why they're still around and still top notch. But, yeah, great match. And you know the thing is, man, if WrestleMania was over then, it would have almost felt like, oh, man, it was a good show.
Yeah.
It was a good show because we're already, over 3 hours deep between the pre-show and those matches, probably about 4 hours at that point. There was still a lot more to come. Yeah. Still a lot more to come. We might be going a little out of order now because, again, that felt like really the climax of the night. We had Daniel Bryan's return, and they booked that kind of in a strange way where they took out Bryan early.
Yeah.
So then Shane was in there with Sammy and Kevin, and you knew that Bryan was going to come back at some point. So it felt like the whole match was just basically waiting for Bryan to get back in there.
No, for sure. No, when he finally did, though.
When he did, the crowd went nuts, and he looked great.
Yep.
And I mean, it was so awesome to see him back. That being said, you're not going to expect necessarily a 5-star classic with Daniel coming back and Shane McMahon being involved.
Yeah.
But it was a strange way to lay that match out, I thought.
No, it was. I feel like Daniel Bryan should have been like the centerpiece of the whole match.
Sure. I think it would make me more sense maybe to take Shane out early and maybe Shane get a hot tag then at the end. Because the fans, like I said, the fans just wanted Daniel Bryan. They knew he was going to get in there eventually. So it was just every last bit of the work with Shane and Sammy and Kevin was just, all right, well, we'll get into it when Daniel gets in there. That's kind of the way it felt watching at home too.
See, I'd like to. I can't wait for like 6 months to a year from now to watch that episode of 24 and see how all this shit led up to it.
Yeah.
Because man, that's gonna be so interesting, especially with how much happened.
How much he put into it. I mean, he was going to doctor after doctor after doctor and doing research and doing everything he possibly could just for that moment. I mean, all the moments going forward.
I watched him on podcasts before he got cleared, talking about how he's been cleared by everyone.
Yeah.
And there's no reason he shouldn't be in the ring. And he's going to go somewhere else if WWE doesn't clear him.
I believe his contract was set to expire in September, maybe October. And I think it was a foregone conclusion that, he was going to leave and go.
I think WWE went against their better judgment and just cleared him because they're like, well, he's going to do it somewhere else anyway.
Might as well do it
And
here.
he was like, I might as well get paid a lot of money to do something I'm really good at.
And ultimately, and ultimately, that's the thing is, we may like watching guys on the independent scene. There's some New Japan guys, and we love watching wrestling from all avenues. But it is a business. These guys, deserve to make good money, and so you can never knock a guy for wanting to take that contract, make some good money, support their families. So,
agreed.
So that being said, I think it's great. We got to see him back in the ring. He's happy to be. That's where he wants to be.
Yep.
And he's going to make some good money doing it. Good things all around.
No, I enjoyed that match pretty much. Like it wasn't the best match of the night, but it was very entertaining.
Yeah. The Bludgeon Brothers came out and took care of business.
Yeah, which I'm happy about for sure.
I'm happy too. That the entrances I think took longer than the match.
Oh yeah,
with the pancakes, the short stacks.
God, yeah.
The Usos finally got their WrestleMania match, so it would have been nice, I guess, for them to have their moment. But I think they see big things out of the Bludgeon Brothers, and it would have been the wrong time to
deserved
to take the luster off those guys. They've been around a while, done everything that they've asked of them, and now they have this gimmick, and they're working hard. They look great. And, it was maybe a 5-minute match. It wasn't long by any means, but definitely made the Bludgeon Brothers look dominant. And sometimes you can do that. You don't need a 20-minute match to tell your story. So I'm fine with that. We got something that's a bit of controversy when you have two of the greatest wrestlers of all time involved in ended up being a 3-minute match. John Cena and The Undertaker, of course. Yeah.
Which I saw that coming. Like, everybody knew that The Undertaker was going to show up.
Yeah.
Or at least they may not have wrestled then,
yeah.
but he was going to at least make an appearance.
Sure. And I don't know. I still, a week later, Mark, I don't know how I feel about it.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of those things. I kind of thought, like, was it, John Cena's going to be fine after getting squashed. He's John Cena.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, if you have two of the best of all time and something that classic, it basically was just a segment to give the fans The Undertaker. Was it worth putting John Cena in that role? And then I think, like, well, who else would have been? You had Elias being part of that segment prior. I think the fans, myself included, would be kind of pissed for Elias to be destroyed,
No,
at The Undertaker's
have liked
expense.
that at all.
So who would it have been to be that important for The Undertaker to come out? And then I kind of come back to, well, I don't know. I didn't really even care that it happened. So, yeah. How do you feel?
I mean, I didn't hate it. I don't see why it happened. They didn't really the build up. All it was John Cena calling him out.
Sure.
And John Cena's over. He's always going to be over. It's not like Undertaker needs to put him over. He could definitely. He's basically squashed John Cena.
Right, and John Cena wasn't going to be any bigger if he did beat the Undertaker, and he's not. He's still going to be John Cena coming off of this match, and that's what I'm saying is that they did invest a lot of TV time in building this up. And I kind of feel like really the only payoff was now, hey, if I was there live, I would have hey, it's the Undertaker.
Yeah.
The Undertaker entrance, it would have been awesome. So I feel like that might be the only payoff because neither of these guys are on TV currently. Cena will be back at some point, I'm sure. I don't know if Taker has any plans going forward, but there was a lot of time. I mean, the match itself was short, but the segment was, decent bit of time going into that. There's a lot of time on TV devoted to it, and then you kind of get out of it, and it was like, just all you really get out of that is like, well, we got to see the Undertaker.
No, it wasn't like
kind of strange, right?
Yeah. And it wasn't that like exciting.
No, it really wasn't. When it was over, I don't think anybody was like pissed that we didn't get more. We were like, okay, and
we were all just kind of satisfied that the Undertaker won.
The Undertaker was there, and that then he
didn't lose.
Yeah, he got the win and got to be the Undertaker. I mean, he did the rope walk, and we got the tombstone, and everybody was happy with it. But
yeah, the rope walk was cool. You don't
the rope walk was cool. It always is. So I coming out of, like I said, a week later, I'm still kind of yeah.
Yeah, definitely wasn't the best moment of WrestleMania this year.
No, sure. And it's kind of crazy when you think John Cena and The Undertaker. I mean, these are, you talk about your Mount Rushmores and stuff. They're obvious candidates if they're not on it. Yeah. And it kind of ended up being a segment,
Yeah, it was kind basically just a reason to get The Undertaker back.
Yeah.
And the way they're talking, it's like he's going to appear a few more times maybe. So maybe that's all it was. The Undertaker was just like, I don't want to retire, man. Let me at least have one more run.
Yeah, well, and you got to wonder how his health is going into it because if he comes out there and imagine showing your kids nowadays like The Undertaker, and if he's not out there performing the way that he used to, it's
not
the lure. Then he's just kind of an old guy. Yeah, kind of an old guy being a dead man. Like
he's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, that's the thing, and the appeal of the entrance will always be appealing. It's always cool. The Undertaker's The Undertaker, but if it's not going to be the same, I don't know if I necessarily want it.
No, you're right. I feel like it's like when you don't want to go see somebody on their deathbed because you don't want to remember them like that.
Right. You're right.
That's kind of what it is. Like you need to pull the plug on this now before it's not cool anymore, or we don't. It's something we don't want to see.
Yeah. That's true. I think the main event last year with Roman Reigns was something people didn't really want to see. It wasn't a very good match. I don't think anybody was,
Nobody was satisfied with the ending.
Nobody was satisfied with the ending. It didn't mean that much for Roman Reigns to beat him. It didn't, the ending with him leaving his stuff in the ring would have been monumental if that was the end.
If they stuck to it.
But we now know it isn't.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of for naught. And then back to the Shane McMahon match was kind of was there. The Bray Wyatt match was kind of there. So it's not just this last year. It feels like the last few years of The Undertaker where it's not what we remembered.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Kind of crazy that those matches with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania was almost 10 years ago. You know, it doesn't feel like it.
No.
The classics have with Shawn Michaels. The classics have with Triple H. He eventually he had a great match with CM Punk at Mania. Eventually losing the streak to Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
That kind of feels like when it ended for me. I don't know. I'm realizing that in retrospect, just thinking about it now.
Maybe they should have just ended it with Brock. They should have just ended it right there with Brock. He should have retired.
If the Undertaker wants to hang around, they're never going to tell him no.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. That's Vince's original boy.
Vince's original
OG
boy. And rightfully so. I mean, rightfully so. The guy, you think back in the Monday Night Wars, there was interest from WCW in The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't there be?
Yeah.
You know, so there was interest in him, and he stayed with Vince through thick and thin. So rightfully so. I mean, The Undertaker can, if he wants to come back, you know, by all means, he has the right to do it, and we should appreciate seeing him. But personally, kind of feel like maybe the ship has sailed even a couple years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that people talk about Undertaker, like he was the judge in Wrestler's
Court. Yeah.
And like he's pretty much, he runs the locker room essentially. Like,
oh yeah.
You better show him nothing but respect and do what he says. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and not because he's an asshole or anything, just because that's
earned
how
that
much
level of
respect
respect
he
yeah.
deserves.
Yeah, yeah. He earned every last bit of it. But
loyal.
Yeah. But then it all resulted in a 3-minute match at WrestleMania this year.
Yeah.
That's what it all kind of comes back to, you know.
Kind of just like throwing us a bone, in a way.
Yeah, and again, if I was live, I would have loved it. Undertaker entrance, rear WrestleMania, sitting at home with so much that had already happened and so much to come still. It was kind of okay. I mean the Undertaker versus John Cena shouldn't be okay.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? That would have been a main event every year, you know,
in the past
5, 6, 7, 8 years ago.
No, I agree.
But
I agree for sure.
Just like the show did, we'll move on. What did you think about the WWE title match, AJ Styles and Nakamura?
It didn't live up to the hype I built for it.
Yeah, that didn't live up to the hype that I think everybody built for it.
Yeah, they were expecting a New Japan match.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people went back and watched that New Japan match, and yeah. It wasn't a bad match, you know. Simply, they worked hard. They told a story.
They just built it
Nakamura
up.
selling the injury. There was so much hype going in that maybe it was impossible to live up to that hype.
Yeah,
but yeah, we got to refresh. Yeah, there's so much hype going into it that it was maybe impossible to live up to it. That being said, I don't think it even came close to living up to the hype.
No, not at all. I mean, I was expecting the world of this match, and I have to take at least partial responsibility for it not living up to my hype.
Sure.
But they did hype it a lot.
They hyped it a lot. Again, I think a lot of people went back and watched that New Japan match, so you're not going to have a New Japan match in the WWE. But then once you got to the finish, and we talked about earlier with Charlotte and Asuka, they hugged, they showed respect. You thought we were about to see the same thing again here, and then punch in the nuts. Yeah,
that's kind of what made the match. Like the match was good. Like generally, it was a good match. But that's kind of what made the match that much better.
Yeah. Something to remember. Then the beat down on the outside was vicious, and we're like, this is kind of what we needed to see for a while now. And so maybe, and there's no reason to ever half-ass a match, but you know, they're building to something more.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just about this match. If it was a one-off and they were going their separate ways, then we could look back and say, it was kind of a disappointment. But I think that the build to that turn, build to something more.
Yeah.
Nakamura couldn't get the job done fair and square. So maybe he turns to different outlets now, and started taking the shortcuts, and that could be the story going forward for him.
Yeah. I didn't think of it like that. Like in hindsight, this will be like, man, that was a good start to this rivalry.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think it's not typical for WrestleMania to be the start to anything. Usually that's the end.
Yeah.
So if that was the first match at a pay-per-view, a few months ago, we might look at it like, okay, yeah. But for being at WrestleMania, we look at it as a match going, should have been more. But I think they are. I think it's going to be the start, and then maybe by SummerSlam we'll look back and go, okay, yeah, that was the start, but this is where they're going to tear it down.
How cool would it be though if they did it all the way up until next WrestleMania? They built it up for a year, like they probably should. They're not going to do that, I'm sure.
Yeah, with so much TV, it's hard to keep guys away for a year. It's hard to build that story, but it would be cool. The only time I can think of a story being built for a year, whether it was Rock and Cena, but of course Rock wasn't there most of the time.
Yeah,
you gotta go back to the Mega Powers, Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man.
No,
that was a build over a year. But again, those guys, there's not weekly TV where they're on every week, and you know what I mean, where you gotta tell that story and somehow keep people hooked week after week after week for 52 weeks.
Yeah,
but I definitely can see it going at least through SummerSlam though.
No, I don't doubt that at all. SummerSlam would probably. Like, if they're not going to do that, that would probably be the logical closure point.
I think so. And again, we'll probably look back now at WrestleMania as the first chapter and maybe have a different outlook on it than we do right now.
Well, this whole time, I've wondered, why did they start calling Nakamura the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura? Why did they change it from the King of Strong Style? And now it makes perfect sense to me. Babyface Nakamura is the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
King of Strong Style Nakamura is heel Nakamura.
Now he's a vicious, King of Strong Style, vicious. And
it all makes sense.
I think you're going to see that side of him, and I think it's exciting going forward. And I'm looking forward to see where that story goes.
Me too. I mean, I love them both. I'm really hoping they like...
We had some friends over at the house. They each had one had a couple. One had an AJ Styles shirt. One had a Nakamura shirt on.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's awesome. That's awesome stuff. That's
sitting right next to each other.
Next to each other the whole night. Yeah, those are two good characters. You know, and now having a sure heel and a sure babyface, I think it could take this story in a different direction.
Yeah.
And definitely gonna be looking forward to it.
All the pieces are in place now. We have heel Nakamura and AJ Styles as the champ in WWE.
It's good stuff. That's cool.
Yeah,
if you look at it as retrospective, that's cool.
Agreed.
So we'll be all right going forward. How do you feel about Braun Strowman destroying the entire tag division? So he throws every tag team over the top rope. He's beat them all. Then you got the bar. You got Sheamus and Cesaro, who's been a great tag team over the last year plus.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, maybe it's an easy story. Okay, Braun could probably beat these guys separately, but 2 against Braun, he's going to need somebody. Who's he going to get? You got a 10-year-old kid from the crowd,
Which, I mean, is probably awesome for that kid, but I think I heard somewhere that it's like a referee's son.
It was a referee's son, referee John Cone's son. This is the way it feels to me. That the weeks leading up there, they might have some creative meetings and going, who do we want as Braun's partner? We bring in somebody new, or we bring somebody back. We bring back the Big Show. Do we call up somebody from NXT? Do we, give a push to Kurt Hawkins? I have a feeling like that's kind of the conversations they had. And they get to WrestleMania, and there's 5 minutes before we go out there, and then go, dude, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. We haven't picked out a kid from the crowd or something.
He's like, my kid's here.
My kid's here. Yeah, okay. Just have him stand on the apron.
No, I don't doubt there's a good chance that's how it went down, for sure.
I don't see the point. I don't see the point at all. It was, it's WrestleMania, it's wrestling, so you can't take everything so seriously, but it kind of was just like, all right, we did all of that for that. And then literally the next night on Raw, they just handed the belts back because the kid's got to go to school. So, and then the bar is going to be in a title match coming up at the World's Greatest Royal Rumble. So what did it... And that's my only issue is you look at the whole product and go, what did that serve?
Yeah.
Braun Strowman's dominant. Okay, he is. He tipped over a float. He's dominant.
He survived a trash truck.
Was it worth destroying the entire tag division?
No.
I don't know, man.
They're doing such weird shit with Braun. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Like, for a while, they were building him up as this monster. He's indestructible. And then now, all of a sudden, he's just a goofball.
Yeah.
Playing instruments and singing songs with Elias and, picking kids out of the audience. And
it feels like the WWE doesn't know any other way for a guy to be a babyface. Once they committed to him being in the babyface, let's stop doing everything that's worked prior.
Yep.
And let's have him sing songs and tell jokes and have pick kids out of the crowd to be his tag partner. Still flip some shit over because that's always cool.
Because he's still Braun Strowman.
Still do that, but everything else they're kind of changing the whole formula, and it's strange.
Oh, I agree. It throws me off every single time. What are they doing now?
Very strange moment and match at WrestleMania.
But I mean, it got the crowd involved. I bet the crowd loved it that was there.
Sure.
Us watching at home was just like, who's he looking for? Because he went all around.
It seemed like it took forever, didn't it? It felt like it took forever.
Like he couldn't find Nicholas. He's like, where's the kid in the Wrestlemania shirt?
Where's the kid that kind of looks like a girl? I can't find him.
Yeah. And like the kid seemed like nervous, but not really nervous at all. Like he knew it was gonna happen. Like he was ready for it. Like they put him in that long sleeve WrestleMania shirt.
Yeah.
To be like, this is the kid.
In real life, wouldn't the kid be kind of scared that Sheamus or Cesaro was gonna kill him?
Yeah.
Even if you have Braun Strowman on your team, I don't know.
For sure, and he tagged him in for a moment. They didn't even go near him, and then he tagged him out again and got right back in, like just so they could say he was in the match.
He was in the match, I guess. But
if they were gonna do that, they should have done it for a real little kid that was there
Sure.
and gave him that moment.
Sure.
Because I mean, this kid Nicholas, if that's even his real name, is forever
that is your
a tag
real
team.
name.
He's forever
Nicholas.
a tag team champion.
A lot of guys that are the champions in the record books, it's not their real name, so yeah, it might not be.
But anyway, regardless, this kid has been a WWE Raw tag team champion.
Yeah, youngest champion of all time, huh?
Give that to somebody who would actually think that was awesome. He might think
it's awesome. And there's something to be said that I guess, if you're a kid watching at home and you just dream like, oh, why can't that be me? And then it did happen.
Just me as a 30-year-old man, just like, I'll do it. Let me be the tag champion. Even if I'll lose them the next day. I don't care.
I'd have Sheamus and Cesaro actually beat the crap out of you, though.
No, I would too. I'd let him. And then Braun saves me and just wins by himself.
Runs by himself, carries you and the belts over on his shoulders.
Yeah. He's got 2 belts on one shoulder and then me on the other. How about that main event, though?
The main event's something to talk about, right? That's again. I think the talking points coming out of WrestleMania were the length is huge. Rousey's match, of course. Asuka's streak being broken. The Nakamura heel turn.
Yeah.
But then ultimately this main event.
Wasn't expecting much of it, really.
I've heard that they say if you go back and watch it on mute, you'll think it's a better match than what you remember.
Really?
But yeah, and now this is the thing though. If your crowd is rejecting it, you need to listen to that crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, you just do. And we could probably do an entire podcast on Roman Reigns. We really could.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, this has been 5 years now about where they're basically, from building him to be the guy. Vince wants him to be the guy. The crowd doesn't want it.
No.
I mean, you can't deny it anymore. You just can't. I don't think Roman Reigns sucks. I would hire Roman Reigns. He'd be on my roster. Looks like $1 million, and he can. He's got athleticism, and
I can agree with that. He's got the look. He's capable of doing better.
Sure. I don't think that he sucks by any means. I think he's got talent, but it's just clear and evident that the fans don't want him to be that guy. They just don't. You can try a heel turn if you want to, but I think it's just time to pull it back and see what else we have, because you had the main event at WrestleMania. Now, granted, I think a lot of people thought Brock Lesnar was leaving. They probably thought it was a foregone conclusion that Reigns is going to get the win. And
Which I think they did that just to pull the wool over our. I think they let Brock retain, really, just because they didn't want us to see it.
Sure. They didn't want us to. They didn't want us to have that foregone conclusion. But that being said, if everything being built is the crowd knows what's going to happen and they don't care, then they don't care. Then that's what's going to happen. You're going to have a match where the crowd's going to shit on it. They're going to toss fucking beach balls around in the crowd.
Oh, and they hate that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's disrespectful to the guys that are going out and working hard, but they're also the ones paying the ticket. They're paying a lot of money for the ticket, and they decided to toss around a beach ball instead of watch that main event. You know what I mean? That's a telling sign. I just don't know, man.
They should just put the beach ball in the ring, and then they'll at least watch the match.
Then they got the attention. Yeah, if Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar are batting the beach ball back and forth,
like they're having a volleyball match.
It seemed like the story going in, Brock Lesnar was beating everybody with the F5. If you look back to last year, one F5 beat Braun Strowman, beat Samoa Joe. They put down Reigns, I believe, at SummerSlam in their match. So one F5 was enough to beat everybody, and so you figure the story was that Roman could get out of the F5 and ultimately get the win. Well, Roman kicked out of 5 F5.
Yep.
So the 6th one put him down.
To the extent that that Brock Lesnar actually got up after he kicked out. He called him a motherfucker, and he yelled it, and to the point where I thought, like, was he supposed to kick out there? Because that looked like Brock was legitimately mad that happened. Maybe he was just selling, because Brock's good at selling.
Brock's a great character.
Brock is good at what he does.
Yeah, you believe it.
Yeah.
Because he's believable. He's a UFC heavyweight champion, so he's believable as a badass, but he's believable as an asshole because by all accounts he's an asshole.
No, you're right. And he loves playing the asshole too.
Sure. Oh, you could tell. You could tell he has fun.
But you listen to like Joe Rogan or anybody that actually knows him, and they talk about how good of a dude he is.
Yeah.
But man, he is so good at being an asshole.
Oh yeah. I don't know, when it's the main event of your WrestleMania, and this is what you get. You have a crowd that doesn't really care. And I think, exhaustion has something to do with it, too. It's a long night. It's a long night sitting at home and watching it.
Yeah.
To the point that, even though it's something you love, you're kind of waiting for it to be over. That crowd probably came in from all around the world, and they're kind of can't wait to get back to their hotel room.
Well, they've been there all day.
They've been there all day.
At the little convention that goes on beforehand when people are signing autographs and taking pictures.
Most of them have been there all weekend.
Yeah, it's like going to Disneyland. By the time you're done at Disneyland, you're whooped.
You're whooped. But the main event should be something that's going to keep their interest, and that wasn't it.
I think the Ronda Rousey match should have been the main event.
Yes, but also you think if maybe that crowd would have been that tired by the end of the night, would have gotten the same reactions. Now, it's a great match.
Point.
Would they have been as into it? I don't know.
I think if you would have done Brock and Roman right before it, I think that would have been like, what the hell? And then they would have been like,
picked it
it
back
would have brought him back.
it
would have been a huge, like,
it's true.
They need to build it up like it's a movie.
They
need to have a good start, a good middle, and a great end.
Oh yeah. So you know that too. I mean that crowd, getting the crowd in the middle for just one match, that's our job, is how we're going to get the crowd, that roller coaster, get them high and then they come back down, get them back up. But that's the whole show though too.
Yeah.
It's you want that crowd to, there's going to be some things that's going to bring them back down. Well, what's next that can bring them back up? And maybe you're right. Yeah, that Brock and Roman match, if it's on second to last and they kind of give a what the fuck sort of thing, well then that awesome tag match being on last probably would have left them, send them home happy, which that's the thing. You come out of that WrestleMania, you have to look back in retrospect and think about the whole card, and I would say it was a good WrestleMania. I enjoyed it. But you get to the end of the night with that main event, and you're tired, where you're just like, all right, you want a good lasting effect.
Definitely.
I think it's critical.
For sure.
Well, man, you want to talk about what's almost as memorable as WrestleMania is the night after now. It's something that people look forward to.
Even Smackdown, like now, the Smackdown after WrestleMania is a thing now.
It feels like this is the time. WrestleMania is the culmination of so many storylines and angles that the night after, and then this coming week where we have the draft shakeup. But it feels like this is where they push that hard reset button.
Yep.
And
or in some cases it's like I don't know the word I'm looking for. It's almost like the continuation of some things. Like some things start at WrestleMania, or some things don't quite end at WrestleMania.
AJ Nakamura, for example. Yeah. But in a lot of cases, though, you got some new talent coming up.
Yep.
And you got new storylines, new angles. So we'll start with Raw, and as I mentioned, new talent. We had Bobby Lashley made his return.
I know.
And Bobby Lashley, like I wasn't a huge fan of his first run. I kind of felt like he was like Brock Lesnar light.
Yeah.
Lesnar was gone. And it's like, well, here's the next one we have. And he's not Brock Lesnar.
No.
But he's a talented dude. I watched a little bit of his TNA run, actually. He a lot of talent, that dude. Looks like $1 million.
Yeah. Oh man, he
looks believable. Got a great reaction.
Like he looks like a Greek god or something.
Yeah,
like
he does.
The build of like somebody that isn't real, like a fictional character.
Yeah, like a superhero, man. Yeah. And I think that's going to be a big addition. They got a lot of cool stuff they could do with him there. You think the match with Brock Lesnar probably could ultimately happen? That would be.
I wouldn't doubt that one bit.
That would have my interest.
Because he was the TNA heavyweight champion, right?
TNA heavyweight champion. He had a fairly successful run in Bellator and MMA.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Bobby Lashley was. Wow. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of that Brock Lesnar light, where a lot of the similar paths. So he was. He was in Bellator MMA. Had some decent success. Not as successful as Brock was, but certainly nothing to snuff at. So I think there's a pretty good story there that could be told. A lot of cool things they could do with Bobby Lashley going forward.
For sure.
We had the Authors of Pain get called up.
Yeah,
from
that
NXT.
That was surprising. Like that's why I actually said on the last Bunch of Potheads podcast that I think this would be a good point for me to really start watching NXT.
Oh yeah,
because they just move so many people up. It's kind of like going to be like a
it's
new
a reset there
Yep.
too. And I know this from NXT. Like they'd bring up so many guys where you would think like, man, what are they going to do now?
Yeah.
They figure it out. Go back, if you think 2 years ago they had Finn Balor, they had Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens had just came up, Sami Zayn had just came up, Nakamura was down there, and then all those guys are gone about the same time, pretty much. They bring them all up at the same time, and you're like, who's left?
Yep.
They develop and they build new stars so well.
Or they split up Gargano and Ciampa and create a masterpiece.
Yeah, which was told over the series of months. They always figure it out. So, that being said, the Authors of Pain are gone. You're right. I think it would be a good time for you to start watching NXT. Really get involved with it. The weekly TV is only an hour long. It's an easy watch, and there's still a lot of good talent.
Well, that and I hate it being like Monday, Tuesday, and then now I have to wait like so long to watch any wrestling.
You can watch Wednesday. You can watch NXT on Wednesday. Now. And then if you're desperate, you can watch Impact on Thursday.
Or 205 Live, which I heard is better.
I've heard 205 Live is better too. I only have so many hours in the day, though.
No, for sure.
Speaking of NXT, though, another call-up, Ember Moon, which hopefully Ashley Griffiths isn't watching, but that's Josh's girlfriend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I like Ember.
Nothing to not like about Ember. She looked great coming up. She basically dominated Alexa Bliss, she's
got a cool gimmick.
She's got a presence. She's got a presence about her. A lot of women will come up and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, she's a pretty girl that can wrestle." But Ember has a hell of a presence about her, man. You take notice of her.
Thick and you believe that she could beat your ass.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah. And she's talented. And then she pretty much dominated Alexa Bliss, who is the kingpin of the women's division on Raw for most of last year.
Yeah, I like that they kind of for the people you really like, especially with Asuka, they put her right into the mix. She was a top girl.
Oh, it's the best. That's a good way to develop somebody. Yeah, if you take out the top girl right away, okay, now you're a player.
Yep. So
for everybody who hadn't seen her in NXT, because not everybody, I mean, you included, you don't necessarily follow NXT through and through. Excuse me. Not everybody who watches Wrestlemania or watches WWE follows NXT that closely. So that might have been the first time a lot of people had seen her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And she made an impact, man. I mean, absolutely. Taking out Alexa like that, and there's exciting things to come for her, I'm sure. A lot of great opponents for her up there on the main roster.
Yeah. I
mean, I could think of a match her and Sasha Banks should be great. Eventually, her and Asuka will be great again. They had a great run at NXT.
Agreed.
So you have Ember Moon called up. You have the Authors of Pain called up. You have Bobby Lashley making a big return.
And then
Jeff Hardy made a return.
He did. He really did, and I like the way he did it too. They even referenced the TNA.
There was Kevin and Sammy looking for a job. I heard TNA's hiring.
Yeah, well, not only that, I meant Matt.
Oh,
and
the brother Nero, and
then they pan over and you see Seth and Finn just what the hell was that? And he just was you wouldn't understand, kind of that was great. I loved that.
That was a lot of fun. So Jeff made a return. He looked good. They closed it out with Finn, Seth, and Jeff looking strong. A lot of times they'll close out with a big angle. I mean, Brock Lesnar returning comes to mind. A lot of times they have a big angle. Not so much this year, but still memorable Raw the night after. And then
they brought up those two girls too. I can't remember their name.
That was on SmackDown.
Oh, that was.
Yeah, right. So that's where we're going to get to SmackDown.
Yeah, my bad. I'm rushing.
Seg right into you got to get to the next night. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, I just started thinking about.
Well, we can go back to Monday Night Raw. There was another big happening. It was Paige officially announcing her retirement.
Oh yeah.
Which was
I didn't see. I saw her announcing her retirement eventually because you heard about it. You've been hearing about it on the internet.
Most everybody knew, but
I did not see the making her the
general manager the next night. Yeah,
I like that.
And I think that's a good role for her. I think because she can talk, and I think she can kind of have that role where it's not necessarily a heel, not necessarily a baby face, but just messing with guys for the sake of messing with guys.
No, she'll be good at
taking no nonsense, because she has she can talk, she has a good on-screen presence. I think she'll be good in that role. And then maybe there'll be a different dynamic with her and Shane McMahon. There's other things that can go with that angle too.
For sure. She just needs to stop saying "baby girl" every time she says that. It
baby girl.
pisses me off. Baby girl, like shut up. Who do you think you are? But other than that,
that's so random. But I agree with you 100%.
It's like she doesn't even believe that she could pull that off.
But you mentioned those two girls being caught up. They're the iconic duo, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay.
I was never impressed by them. Like first time I saw them, I'm like, these girls are terrible. They're really bad.
Yeah.
But like,
well, they were really bad.
Everybody tells me that they like them, and
they weren't great. They improved a lot over their time in NXT.
They they moved them up,
and a big time appearance for them because they took out Charlotte.
Yeah,
I mean it was a believable beatdown too. It really was.
Like, I enjoyed it. I was honestly surprised. Like, okay, I remember them not being nearly as good at this as they are now.
But they came up and they looked like they made an impact. They were believable with their characters and took out Charlotte. And then you had the cash in.
Yeah. Oh my God, that blew my mind.
Which I don't know. A lot of people
didn't think she was gonna win.
A lot of people seem a little upset because they feel like it might have taken away the moment of Charlotte beating Asuka. But I don't. I don't in the sense that you have these two new heel women coming up. They made a huge impact by taking out the top girl.
Yep.
And now the chicken shit heel comes in and cashes in the Money in the Bank. I think it's about as good as it could be.
I mean, you have to think about it like this. Like people, like in our adult years, we all get so mad about these things, right? All these adults do. But when we were kids, it was all that shit that pissed us off that made it great.
Yeah, it's heat.
Yeah, that's what made it great. Like I was legit, like I kind of went the opposite direction with this. But when Stephanie turned on her dad and went with Triple H, I fell in love with Stephanie in that moment. I fell in love with her in that moment, and like I said, that's kind of the opposite way. But then there's other things that just like make you mad. You're legitimately like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
Right.
But yet you still do, and that's why you did.
Right. Yeah, it's the difference between what we were talking about earlier with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, where it was like, man, I don't really want to watch this. And it wasn't like heat because we hated Brock Lesnar or even hated Roman Reigns. We just don't really want it.
Yeah.
Now this case, no, it's real heat because you're sitting there thinking, God, Charlotte, she's the top star. She just beat Asuka. She's the best.
That's what they wanted.
And now these two bad girls are coming up and they're ruining it. And then this little shithead Carmella comes out and basically steals the title. And you're mad about it? Good.
Yeah, that's
you
the whole point.
You should be mad about it.
Yeah,
and if you look at it from this perspective now, what more would have been there for Charlotte? She just beat Asuka. You're at the top of the world, right? Well, now you want to tune in because you want to see her get her revenge against Peyton Royce and Billie Kay.
Yep.
You want to see her get her revenge against Carmella. They shouldn't give that all to you immediately. They should build that. They should space that out. And we're going to tune in because we want to see it. I mean, I thought it worked out well.
And think about this. Her and Asuka are on great terms. They're hugging each other.
Sure.
And Charlotte was ready for Asuka.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe there's going to be a tag team handicap match. Asuka and Charlotte versus those three.
Calls in a friend. That'd be a good one to have, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, now that I didn't think about this till now, but that would be a perfect setup for that.
Sure.
Asuka and maybe they team up. Charlotte's the women's champion and their tag champions. They bring women's tag team titles in, which they've talked about.
Yeah, they pretty close to having enough depth to do it.
I mean, they're adding more and more women to the roster all the time.
Sure. I
wouldn't be surprised if Nikki Cross came up within the next year, if she's even still around.
She's still around. She's with Sanity. She's ready.
Or Sanity, for that matter.
Sanity, I think they're ready too. Eric Young's been around for forever, so he could easily throw him on there.
He was in TNA, wasn't he?
He was in TNA. Killian Dane was on the independent scene for a long time, and Vince loves those guys.
Oh, yeah. Killian Dane is I don't even know how to describe him. Like,
well, he's believable too. That's the thing.
He looks like a damn caveman.
Yeah, you would believe if that guy lived down the road from you and was outside, mowing his lawn. You weren't going to mess with him. You say, "Hi, sir, how are you?" Like you
don't walk in my yard.
Right. So you got believable characters there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Sandy get caught up soon. Yeah. Usually the night after WrestleMania, or now 2 days after WrestleMania, it's the reset button. You get new characters, you get new storylines going forward, and it's a great time to get back into it, man. I think the talent being brought up, there's a lot of great ways they can go with it too. I'm excited to keep watching.
Me too, dude. I'm excited for this next season of wrestling.
Which will include Daniel Bryan, full-time wrestler, got a match with AJ Styles, and again, we talked about the Shinsuke heel turn. What's a great way to get the crowd to hate you. Now, they've loved him for the last couple of years since he's been around, okay? Love this guy. What's not to love? He's charismatic, got the coolest entrance. Yeah. Go interrupt AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Go shit all over that match. Yep. The crowd's not going to like you. It was very, very well done. Simple story.
But yet, I'm still loving every second of it.
We're loving it as wrestling fans. We're loving it as wrestling fans. I think eventually they're going to get to where, yes, we want to see a great match, but also we want to see AJ Styles get this fucker. You know, like that's. I think we're gonna get to that point because Shinsuke is so talented. I think that he'll get to the point where get the crowd to be against him.
And I think Shinsuke will get the title in between all that.
I think so too. I do. I think him as a heel champion with a vicious streak. I think it'll be the right time for him.
For sure.
Even if he doesn't hold on to it for a real long time. But AJ Styles, Nakamura at the top of the card, nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Nope. It's good things.
Yep.
But then we might have to do another podcast on Wednesday because Monday and Tuesday we got the draft, they got the shakeup. That's how they call it, the Superstar Shakeup. So there's, again, we don't even know where these guys are going to be. They might be, Shinsuke or AJ could go to Raw. I mean, you never know. It doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense because they got that story being built, but you never know. So we got to have some different faces on different shows, some fresh matchups. Man, that's exciting.
Do you think Roman Reigns will ever leave Raw and go to SmackDown?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Not until Vince
and
does XFL.
They say Raw is Vince's baby, and that's obviously his guy. Oh, let's do that. Why don't we think about who do you think should or who do you think will switch brands? Who's at the top of your head?
Obviously, no champions will.
You're
not going to have AJ go to Raw.
It's happened before. I think it was
champ.
John Cena and Batista where
really?
they were champions and they actually switched shows. I think Cena came.
And they kept their titles.
They kept their titles, but the title went to a different show. Yeah.
But see, now they have color-coded titles. You know what I mean?
You can't bring your red belt over here on SmackDown.
Yeah. What are they going to do? They're just we'll just switch belts.
What they should do is they should say that the champions are exempt. Like, like, hey, if you're the champion, you're not going to switch shows. And then we go, okay, and you don't need the champions to switch shows. You bring new people over on different shows, you have new challengers.
And they usually just they don't switch the main title people. They'll just they switch the Intercontinental title
or the US title.
US title on shows.
You could do that. But if they went into it knowing that, hey, the champions don't switch brands, then it's okay. Well, now you know, because then it won't seem as random where it's like, the champions never get drafted.
Yeah,
they don't really explain any sort of formula to it at all. It's just like these guys are here and these guys are there.
Yeah.
But that being said, though, I personally think maybe Finn Balor would be a really good choice to go to SmackDown.
Oh, for sure, I would agree with that. I don't think any champions are going to switch at all.
Okay.
But I definitely think there's going to be random people that don't hold any titles or maybe even people that don't do much. Like you might even see Fandango move over.
Well, last year you basically had a trade. It was Kurt Hawkins coming from SmackDown to Raw for Jinder Mahal from Raw to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Both those guys were the enhancement guys. They were always on the bottom of the card. And then all of a sudden, a couple months later, Jinder Mahal was their champion. So even if these the guys that aren't doing much, shoot, you never know.
They're switching Braun and Rusev or something I think they do it formulaically, like a big guy for a big guy, and then Kevin for Sammy or something, and then they just put them on the same show. They definitely think about it all beforehand, putting the pieces together.
I mean, it would be kind of neat if it was just let's pick them out of a hat, but I think, I think they definitely have a plan of where they want to go, who they want to put them with. That's what I'm saying. I think Finn Balor over on SmackDown. I think there's a lot of real fresh matchups for him over there.
No, that's pretty likely.
That would be cool. Trying to think some of the ladies. I think maybe either Sasha or Bayley going over to SmackDown. I think it'd be some fresh. I think the women's division needs a little bit more freshening up over on the SmackDown side. Charlotte's been amazing.
Yeah.
We'll see what Carmella can do as the champ, but Naomi just feels like she's been stuck in neutral for the last since she's been around. Not a big Naomi fan. Becky Lynch, I love Becky Lynch, but again, I kind of feel like she's been stuck in neutral for a little while.
They gotta do something.
So maybe she moves to Raw. So there's some fresh matchups for Becky Lynch on Raw. Say Sasha Banks goes over to SmackDown. You got some fresh matchups over there.
That's true.
That'd be something interesting.
I'd be really surprised if they split up Bayley and Sasha though, with all that build up they're doing.
Well, I believe they have a match tomorrow night, so maybe that match will be the boom, and then one of them ends up on SmackDown.
Like everybody wants Sasha to turn heel, but I think it would be more shocking if Bayley
did. I do too.
Not only that, but Bayley needs some kind of infusion. She
needs
to her
an
character.
edge. Yeah, she needs something. I feel like Sasha's been a little bit more over than Bayley. As a babyface, the entrance still gets a big reaction. Sasha's great as a heel. If you watched her in NXT, she was great as a heel. But yeah, I think so. I think that change for Bayley could really be interesting. So maybe a big heel turn. Maybe go over on the SmackDown. Although we just talked about SmackDown seems like they're actually okay with heels with Royce and Kay and Carmella.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, maybe send Sasha Banks over as a babyface. And Bayley can be a heel over on Raw.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it, dude. Bayley has like all the reason to be a heel.
Sure.
She gets walked all over.
Sure.
She's too nice to people. Like she's just all she has to do is be like, fuck it. No more Mr. Nice Girl. You know what I mean?
It's got me nowhere. And that's the thing is most heel turns and most good heels will be justified in what they're saying, but kind of a dick how they say it.
Yeah,
okay?
like with a chip on
justified
the shoulder.
what they want, but maybe take some shortcuts in getting there. You know, a good heel should believe what they say. You should believe that you're slighted. You should have that passion.
They feel justified in what
they're doing.
Yeah,
exactly. And then you come off as kind of an asshole as you do it.
Yeah.
You're right. I think, she does. She has every reason to have that turn, to maybe say, I tried to do it all for the fans, but look where it's got me. It's got me walked on. I'm tired of it. Screw you.
Yeah. Even my best friend's fucking me over.
Yeah. That's even my best friends I can't trust anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm doing things for myself. I could see her going forward with that character. I think
she goes from Macho Man to Stone Cold. I just don't give a shit. Starts wearing a leather vest out, doing this on the turnbuckles. She already kind of does the Macho Man thing.
Yeah. Lose all the colors, lose the happy theme music, lose the hugs.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't gotten her anywhere. That could be the story.
Wear your hair down. Maybe it's a little messy and shit. No.
Actually start doing her hair, yeah.
Grunge it up a little bit.
No more ponytails, yeah. Trying to think of anybody else that could maybe use the freshening up, or we could see something exciting. Bobby Roode, I think, could be good on Monday Night Raw.
Oh yeah,
I think there's some good matches for him. I also like Bobby Roode as a heel more than a babyface.
No, he makes more sense as a heel.
So you could have him go to Raw, possibly have a heel turn, and imagine him with Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental title. That would be a good.
That'd be epic
story feud that I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Couple other guys I'm trying to think here that could possibly use that little bit of a freshen up. Tag teams, maybe the Usos go to Raw. They've been on SmackDown the entire time. It feels like not that the match is ever bad, but it feels like we've seen the Usos in the New Day about 300 times.
No, you're right.
So
and New Day actually they weren't in the shakeup. They just randomly went to SmackDown in the middle of the year. So I don't think New Day's going anywhere.
I don't think New
but
Day's
I would
going
definitely believe that the Usos would go to Raw.
I think the Usos to Raw would be kind of cool. And then maybe Gallows and Anderson, or maybe the Revival going over to SmackDown.
Gallows and Anderson coming to SmackDown and doing the AJ Styles Bullet Club with Finn Balor.
Oh. Now look at that. Got you excited.
God.
Yeah, right?
That would be, I want that.
I want that. Do that. I'm thinking those guys over there. They replace the baby faces that the Usos, leaving. Have some good matches with Gable and Benjamin. The good matches, I'm sure, with the New Day.
See, Gable and Benjamin are like, I'm on the fence about that. I do not like Gable.
You don't like Gable?
I mean, I think he's a good wrestler.
You're going to have the internet turn against you here, Mark.
No, I think he's good at what he does, but like, I hate it when he talks. I hate it. I don't like his character whatsoever.
Do you hate him because you think he's a snooty little shit and you kind of want to smack him?
Kinda.
Well, he's a heel.
And I know that, but like that's why I don't like him, because like I liked him when it was
with Jordan, with Alpha. They're a great team.
Yeah, like American Alpha I liked them a lot. Yeah. They didn't really talk that much. They just did really good in the ring. They were just a classic tag team.
Right.
But once he went heel and he got with Shelton Benjamin and he started talking, it's like his voice just irritates me.
He would be the mouthpiece of that group because Shelton was never that great on promos. So he would be the mouthpiece for that group. I don't know. I enjoy him as a team, and I think Gable's.
Well, no, I guess I love to hate him. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to hate him.
There you
and
go.
he's doing a good job. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
well, then we need more of him.
I respect him.
Then we need more of him on the TV so you can.
I just love making fun of his, but like I crack Amber up all the time because he'll just be talking and then I'll do his voice and I'll sound like almost spot on or do it like exaggerated and it's just so funny.
So let me tell me this. So let's say on Tuesday they're in the ring, and he's talking some shit, driving you nuts, and then Gallows and Anderson's music hits and they come down and lay the boots to him. You'll be cheering.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not complaining about it. He's doing what he needs to do. It's working on me hard.
Good. Yeah, I could see. I think the Usos going to Raw could be some fresh matchups there. Gallows and Anderson on SmackDown. Again, the Revival, I wouldn't mind seeing on SmackDown also. I think those guys are too good to be in the spot that they're in.
No, you're right.
I think they need a little bit more. And SmackDown seems like they give a little bit more opportunity to guys that are a little bit more lost in the shuffle.
For sure.
So I think it could be good for those guys as well. Baron Corbin maybe is the guy that comes to mind. He's been on SmackDown for a long time. There could be some fresh matchups on Raw for him.
Yeah.
I've heard that Vince really likes him. There's a lot to like about him. You know, he's believable in his character as well.
You know? And like the whole thing, he's got that like lone wolf biker kind of feel to him, and like he pulls it off.
He's believable in his character to the point where I see him and I kind of wish he was a little bit better because I see it. You know what I mean? Like I could get behind him if he just knew a little bit
that little
more.
bit of oomph.
A little more oomph, a little more edge. Maybe I don't know what exactly he's missing. But I think there's definitely potential there, and maybe that's the thing. You move him over to Raw, you give him just a new little, some new legs, and see where you go from there.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Trying to think if there's anybody else that I think would really, really use it, change of scenery per se. I don't think Braun Strowman's going anywhere. I don't think
Braun Strowman's too big to leave Raw. Vince loves him.
I don't think Randy Orton even is going anywhere. I mean, you could throw him over on Raw and see if you can get a couple new feuds for him. He kind of feels like, I've heard he's taking on a lesser schedule anyways, and he deserves it. He's been fantastic for them since 2002, so been around a long time.
Maybe they'll like either split up or move the Titus brand or whatever.
Oh, the Titus brand with Apollo and Titus.
And maybe Dana Brooks, since she actually came back and wrestled.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll actually go to like SmackDown or something.
It's a possibility.
Or wait, are they on SmackDown?
No, they're on Raw.
Maybe she'll go to SmackDown and that'll add one more body to the women's division because she was
true.
good.
Yeah, Dana Brooke has a lot of potential. I felt like when she came up, she wasn't quite ready. But I do think she has a lot of potential, and the Apollo came from SmackDown last year, so I think if anybody, he might stay. Maybe they keep Titus there as well, or maybe Titus goes over. That team, I kind of liked it more as Titus being like the manager, the agent, and I kind of was hoping he'd build like a stable. Like I kind of like that more so than them as just a regular tag team.
Yeah, Titus is just such a big dude.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to like. Why would he not be in the ring?
Yeah, if you really look at it from like a wrestling, like if wrestling is real and strategic standpoint, you want the big guy to actually fight for you.
Sure. Yeah. Why is he not in here fighting these battles?
What the hell, man? You're like, I'm Apollo Crews or whatever, right? That's his name.
Yeah.
Why am I doubting that?
I think they just shortened it to Apollo. They lost the last name there, so it's just Apollo now.
But like what? Like he's looking up at him like 2 feet taller than him. Like, why am I in here, dude?
Come take care of this.
Yeah, I'm not your stooge.
Well, man, whatever they do, I know I'll be watching. Excited, for what we talked about from WrestleMania. You got AJ Nakamura going forward. You got Charlotte maybe looking to get her revenge. We got Ember Moon and Authors of Pain. Call it up. Bobby Lashley's return. And some superstars changing brands. So I'll be watching the next couple of days and excited to see where we go going forward.
For sure. Most excited? What are they going to do with No Way Jose?
I forgot about No Way Jose until now. Forgot about No Way Jose.
But no, I just thought about it too. I was like, oh yeah, No Way Jose.
Hey, I'll tell you what, they did a good job presenting him because if you didn't ever know him before, you wouldn't know that he was basically an enhancement guy in NXT.
Yeah.
They made him look like a star on Raw.
They did.
So, what are they going to do with No Way Jose? I think that's the best point we can leave here.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments what you think
about No Way Jose and nothing else.
Yeah.
Just
ignore everything else we said. Just comment on that.
And maybe in a couple weeks we'll dedicate ourselves 6 hours to talk of No Way Jose.
Yeah, and coming soon, the Reigns on Reigns, an all Roman Reigns podcast.
That's going to happen because I feel like every time we get to Roman Reigns, it's just like
we're gonna figure this shit out.
There's a lot
man.
to talk about with Roman Reigns. Well, there's always a lot to talk about with wrestling in general, especially when we watched, put it all together, 14, 15 hours of wrestling over a 3-day span there, 4-day span. So a lot of wrestling to watch, a lot to talk about, but it's my favorite time of the year. So
yep. No, I this is probably the most exciting time for wrestling every year for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, man. I think we covered it pretty well.
We did. We did a hell of a podcast this time.
I'm hoping so. Hope everybody else thinks so too.
Yeah, that was episode 2, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. Again, you could follow us on everything at The Western Jesus. We got Wilbur Whitlock on everything.
Check me out on Wilbur Whitlock on Facebook. I don't understand Twitter, so you won't see me there. But check me out there, and you can see my upcoming shows. Hope to see you guys out sometime.
Yep, watch some. Go see some Mid-Ohio wrestling shows. Watch the tag team champs retain their titles over and over
again, and then come out for a beer with us after. We'll
they're going to beat the New Day's record on holding the tag title.
New Day's, Demolition, and trying to think of what other big type team. The Hart Foundation combined.
There you go.
That's the plan.
Yeah, so check that out. Shirts available at mattarcher.threadless.com. Like, share, and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and until next time. Thanks for watching.
Next time. Bye, Internet.
Later, people.